Alright? Alright, Shalom. I'd like to say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Badesh. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, or the true leaders of Israel today, and salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, who risk their lives and their freedom to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen, but are not like their forefathers. For Israelite men, and his son's name is Yahushai, and the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as they are the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Zakalia, and our prophet sent from Yahweh Shemishai to let you all know of the things that are to come, to let you all know of the mercies and judgments of our power, Yahweh Shemishai, and of course the Lord's prophecies. And we have many prophecies that are well on their way, more so than ever before. You have the prophecy of Jacob's trouble, which is a time like never before upon the nation of Israel, us. A time of great trouble, man. That time will also include the judgments that are coming, such as the pestilences and the famine and the sword. There will also be spirits that are created for vengeance, to bring about all kinds of judgment to the world and onto you people, you wicked, unbelieving Israelites that refuse to return to our power, Yahweh Shemishai. We have the prophecy of the famine of the word, which when that happens, you guys will not be able to hear this word anymore. And right now the word is being dispersed on the YouTube, on the social media, mainly via the YouTube, and also on the highways and byways, which is literally what you're witnessing right now. You have the prophecy of World War III, which that is building up very quickly, day by day, and all of the relevant superpowers of this world that are also mentioned in the scriptures regarding World War III, they're acting up. The Lord is putting the Spirit upon them to go to war. You have the persecution of the prophets, which you know is coming. And we also know that spiritual power is coming as well. And at the end of it all, there will be the deliverance of the elect of the nation of Israel from the four corners of the earth, and the 1/3 from America, and 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed in America. America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. But before that prophecy can occur, the main prophecy that we have eyes on right now is the mark of the beast prophecy, which is the microchip. This is the big one. All the rest will come, and there are major prophecies too, of course. But the main one to come is this mark of the beast prophecy. And this has to come to pass before the salvation and the destruction can come. Because there is a judgment for those who take the microchip, which is in fact that mark of the beast. Alright? And this week, we've had some very big developments regarding this prophecy. Huge, big news, massive. Alright, a very huge step has been taken by Esau, Edom, for these so-called white people. They are the Edomites, their forefather is Esau, and this is their kingdom. They are in their blessing, the fatness of the earth, the dew of heaven, and by the sword will they rule. And they're the wicked. Alright? So they have their ruling class, which is the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, as the Spirit has identified them as. And they are the elite bankers. And they have a plan and an agenda at hand, which is their New World Order agenda. and at the forefront of it, at the apex of it, everything that they're doing is to bring about the microchip, which is the mark of the beast, which is at the forefront of their New World Order. So with that, the system is transforming from what we know as, the current system, the current monetary system as well. They're heading towards what they call the fourth industrial revolution, which is also called the intelligence age. This fourth industrial revolution, the intelligence age, also known as the digital age, which is all these things, is a transformation of society towards a digital ecosystem. Everything is transforming digitally. From the payment system, right now the current payment system is by way of the paper dollar, the fiat currency, that's the way that people pay. They're transforming it to a digital payment system. That digital payment system, you can see it being brought in by way of these central bank digital currencies and the stable coin, which is what America signed into law. What was it now? Like a few months ago at this point. Time is moving by so quickly. The Genius Act, which signed the stable coin into law, which acts as a digital currency at a 1-to-1 rate to the US dollar. So it is essentially the central bank digital currency for the United States of America, just with a different name, but it operates in the same manner. They're transforming the current, the overall systems of the world to go completely digital, to operate on a digital system, because the microchip itself is a digital device. And they intend for this microchip to be used day in, day out for all of your needs and every single thing that you do. And they also intend to implant it into your hand. And they also intend it to become mandatory worldwide. And how is this known? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemishai and understanding the scriptures and the breakdown of the prophecies. Let's go to the prophecy itself, because this is the major one, man, that's coming. And with these recent developments that have been happening, we are so close. In Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16 it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond." So who is he that causeth all? The wicked elite of Esau Edom, the ruling class of the Edomites in their kingdom, the Edomite kingdom. Alright, their ruling class, the elite bankers, they're going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Alright? So they intend to cause all, no matter who you are, your social status, your monetary status, if you're imprisoned in jail or not, it doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing or anything. They intend to cause all to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when you break down the word mark at G5480, it says charagma, a stamp, an imprinted mark. So the charagma is something that is physical. It is something that is imprinted. Now, what is it to imprint? Well, you can test it yourself, on yourself. You can take your hand and you can simply press your finger into your hand. That's an imprint, and that is how the microchip is administered. It is put into the hand. But then let's break it down further. At G5482, it says Caracks, a pail or stake. So when you Google what a stake is, it is similar to that of the shape of a pencil or a pen. Essentially, it is something with a pointed end that can pierce things. And in this case, the Caracks will pierce the skin. The Caracks itself is the device used to administer the microchip. And when you Google biometric microchip, RFID microchip, you will see the image come up of the microchip itself, which is the Caragma, and the device used to administer it, which is the Caracks. And so, when you go to YouTube or Google, and you Google and you YouTube the microchip itself, you will see that there are many videos on there that will show you how it is administered. And it is administered by piercing the skin, right? Piercing the hand, and then they simply inject the microchip into the hand, which that is the imprinting of it, right? Pushing something into something, right? So this is the situation at hand. Anyone that is telling you that the mark of the beast is something other than the microchip, my best advice is to run and ignore that individual, because they are teaching you something false, something untrue. So run. The mark of the beast is a microchip. Now, the prophecy itself states to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Now, I must make it clear, because some people will try to argue the point. The position, the hand, it doesn't matter. All right? And actually, where you receive the mark, it doesn't matter. But the Lord specifically has mentioned the hand and the forehead. And we have seen the development of this microchip technology in both the hand and the forehead, which is Bible prophecy speaking in real time. We're literally living through it. So you have the development of the microchip in the hand, which that has been very common. People around the world, from Europe, especially in Sweden, the UK, America, and other places around the world, people are microchipped. And they're using the microchip for its very intended purpose that is coming in, you know, in the near future, that is going to become mandatory. When you do your research on it, you'll see it as well. The microchip. So I'm going to Google it and bring out biometric microchip. So it says the biometric microchip from Google AI overview. You can also bring it from Wikipedia, you know. But it says this from Wikipedia: a human microchip implant is any electronic device implanted subcutaneously, usually via an injection. So that microchip is the Caragma, and that device used to inject it is that Caracks. Examples include an identifying integrated circuit RFID device encased in silicate glass, which is implanted in the body of a human being. This type of subdermal implant usually contains a unique ID number that can be linked to information contained in an external database. So this unique ID number is your biometric ID, all right? And it is going to be your digital identification, which your digital identification includes your biometric information so that they can identify you perfectly. Because what Esau found out is that regarding an individual's biometric, no two peoples are the same. They're completely unique per person. All right, even for those that are identical twins, Esau found out, right, through the science, which all of this is given to him through Yahweh Shemishai, all of this knowledge, that the fingerprint is completely unique per person. So that is your biometrics. All right. The measure of the body, right? And they measure your body by way of taking your fingerprint, your face scan, your eye scan as well. So then here it says that unique ID number, which is unique per individual person, that can be linked to information contained in an external database, right? An external database, which is a digital database contained in an external database such as identity document. So your identification and everything about your identification, your criminal record, medical history, medications, address book, and other potential uses. All right, which also includes your financials. Now let's go back to the AI overview and read it here. All right. So a biometric microchip is a small chip, often in a glass capsule, that is implanted in the body and contains biometric information like a unique ID number, right? So remember, your unique ID number is tied to your biometrics, like a unique ID number to authenticate a person's identity. It functions similarly to a contactless smart card, holding data that can be read by compatible devices for various purposes, including secure identification, border control, and even contactless payments. Biometric passports use similar technology by embedding these chips into the document to prevent fraud and streamline travel. All right? So how it works. The chip is typically implanted under the skin using an injection, often in the hand, the back of the hand. Data storage. It contains a computer chip and antenna that store personal data such as a unique ID. Reading. The chip uses contactless smart card technology to be powered and communicate with external devices like scanners or readers, right? So it communicates via RFID, right, and NFC. So that's why you can also Google RFID microchip. It's all the same thing. RFID microchip, biometric microchip. Common uses and applications. Identity verification. The primary use is for identity authentication, making it harder to forge or alter. Now keep in mind as well the current systems that are being brought in, right? You have the monetary system being changed, which is the digital payment system, the central bank digital currencies, which are being developed by every country worldwide. And then you have the digital identification system, which is being developed by all of these countries worldwide and being launched. Out here in Jamaica, the digital ID, which is called the NIDS, NIDS, has been launched. And the central bank digital currency has been launched. Jamaica was the first country in the world to make the central bank digital currency legal tender. It works as a 1-to-1 ratio to the Jamaican dollar. You can exchange your Jamaican dollars for Jamaican digital dollars at that 1-to-1 ratio. All right, so this is an agenda that is worldwide, and all of these countries are developing it, man, and they've received their orders and their mandate from the wicked elite of Esau Edom. All right, so keep in mind these systems that are coming in, and then also the transformation of the cities as we know them right now. They're being transformed, heading towards this digital age, the fourth industrial revolution, the intelligence age. So they're transforming the cities to these digital cities. They call it DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. The transforming of the cities towards what they call 15-minute cities. and smart cities. This is a part of the system that's coming in, all right? Because the system that's coming in, where it's going to be where the microchip is mandatory, and the microchip is going to be used as a part of people's daily lives. So so people are going to be going about using their microchip when they go to the doctor, when they make payments, when they do anything, all right? When they need access to government services, all right? They're going to need a microchip. So the cities need to be changed digitally, right? As Esau, has promoted and shown, it's a part of what they want to accomplish, where the microchip can essentially just communicate with the cities just on a, regular basis. All right? So, with knowing that, let's continue to read the prophecy. In Revelation 13 and verse 17 it says, "And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." So, unless you have the mark of the beast, which is that microchip, you won't be able to buy or sell. And so living through it, it was already understood through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemishai that unless you have the microchip, you're going to be shut out from society. You won't be able to buy or sell. That is the most common, basic way of human living, right? Exchanging of goods and services among one another, all right? So they're going to make it mandatory where unless you have this microchip, you won't be able to have access to society and everything that it has to offer. And so we can take a look at the digital ID. The digital ID, which has been proposed by the World Economic Forum, which is no longer just a proposition, but a reality, a development of a system around the entire world, a one world order, right? So the digital ID proposed by the World Economic Forum at the time, which now has been developed and launched around several countries around the world, including out here in Jamaica. The digital ID says that it's about connecting people with things, with entities and devices. Now, keep in mind the end game goal of merging people with technology, because that is what the microchip is about. A part of it, right? They're inserting the microchip into the body. So that is merging people with technology, okay? And then the people with the microchip inside of their bodies are going to be communicating with the entities and the devices and the things, right? Around the cities, the smart cities, the 15-minute cities, where they're going to be microchipped and they're walking around and they're using the microchip every step of their path. They're using the microchip because the microchip has multiple uses. You have individuals such as the girl named as Chip Girl in America. I believe that's where she's at. She has social media and she posts on her social media proudly that she is in fact microchipped. And she's using the microchip before she even leaves her house. She uses the microchip in her own home to open up doors and cabinets around her house. And the microchip can also be used to open up the door of your car. It has multiple uses, all right? And then I want to point out as well that the microchip, it has already been shown on social media that the microchip is accepted at the point of sales machines. Yes, your everyday point of sales machines that you interact with, it already accepts microchip payments. So the point of sales machine are already programmed. That shows you how close we are to this prophecy. Because look at the situation at hand. The microchip in the hand and the brain microchip, which is the microchip in the forehead, is out there. It's up and running. So now what we're waiting for is a system to be developed heading towards its mandatory implantation. Okay? So the digital ID, it shows you what is going to be connected to your digital ID. And make note already that your digital ID will contain your complete identification, including your biometric information. Okay? So then it says your digital ID is going to have all of this stored on it. Your health care is going to be stored on it. Your medical information. And what did Trump do recently? I believe he signed into law the transformation of the medical industry to a digital system. All right? You have the financial services that are going to be attached to the microchip, to the digital ID, okay? Which is your bank accounts and everything. Food and sustainability, travel and mobility as well. So your passport and any kind of travel documents that you have is going to be tied to it. I know that in some places like in Europe and the UK and in America, where they use like the trains and stuff, they have like what, a Metro card or something like that. That is going to be stored on your digital ID. Okay, and your passport is going to be stored on your digital ID. Everything. It also mentions humanitarian response. All right, so this says to access services to demonstrate qualifications to work in a foreign country. All right, so they're just attaching every single thing to it. E-commerce, right? The ability to shop online. Your internet identity is going to be tied to your digital ID. And they've already spoken about this. They've already spoken about how the internet has become volatile in a certain kind of way and that they want to get rid of anonymity. So they're going to tie your internet ID to your digital ID. So there will no longer be any kind of anonymity on the internet regarding the making of multiple profiles and, you know, making a fake email account and then signing up for this website and then remains anonymous, you know, somewhat anonymous, right? And I say that because regardless of how anonymous you try to be, they can always track your IP address, you know? Anyway, it also mentions social platforms, where social platforms is a part of your internet ID. So your social media ID is going to be tied completely to your digital ID. So Facebook, Twitter, X, which was once known as, well, X is Twitter, right? Instagram, what else I have out there? TikTok. All of these various different social media, your ID is going to be attached to your digital ID. It also mentions e-government for citizens to access and use services, file taxes, vote, and collect benefits. So government services is going to be tied to your digital ID. Telecommunications, which is your phone, your SIM card is going to be attached to your digital ID. And I actually did, because a few weeks ago there was an article that came out regarding the telephone, the SIM card, and attaching it to digital ID, and it shows you right here. And then it also mentioned the smart cities, because the digital ID is going to be communicating with the smart cities. It's all going to be a part of the entire system. The technologies all communicating with each other with this whole digital system, this digital ecosystem, and have these digital databases. So by what I've just brought out from this digital ID, it is clearly showing you that it is all about consolidating all of your information and storing it into one place. This digital ID is a stepping stone heading towards the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. This stepping stone is consolidating all the information, because what is the biometric microchip? I read it before. It stores all of your data and information on it, and then it can be used for identification purposes and payment purposes. And that is what the digital ID is showing. It is showing the merging of all of this information onto one place. Okay? And then I want to go back to Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. The word charagma at G5480, then to the origin G5482, charax, which then the origin of that says to sharpen to a point akin to G1125 through the idea of scratching, which then says grapho, right? So it says grapho, to write with reference to the form of the letters, to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment paper, or other material. All right? And what is the modern way of that? What is the modern day way of writing information onto something? We know it by way of a digital way, right? On digital databases by way of digital devices. And so the microchip itself is a digital device with things that are recorded onto it. So it says then to write with reference to the contents of the writing, to express in written characters, to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, write down, record. So all of this data and information is recorded onto this device, which is the microchip. You see? And this is what John, the prophet, John the Revelator saw when he was given the vision of the mark of the beast prophecy. He saw the microchip itself, the physical microchip, and identified it as the charagma, because he identified it the best that he could, using, you know, the vocabulary and the verbiage that they knew at that time. So he described it as the charagma. Then he saw the device used to administer the microchip that pierces the skin, and he identified it as the charax. And then he saw what it does and its purpose, and he saw that all of this data is recorded, right? And we know that by what I brought out regarding the microchip itself, the biometric microchip, a unique identification used to make payments, but also to store all kinds of information and data on it. This is it, man. This is it. Okay? Then it says in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 18, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 square and 6. So now we go to the word 6 at G5516. And so it says in the Greek, chi psi stigma. We have to break it down further at G4742, which says stigma. So now let's read this. Stigma, a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. Now automatically, after what I've just spoken about, it says a mark pricked in or branded upon the body. What is that mark? The microchip, which is that charagma. It says to ancient Oriental usage, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander branded or pricked into their bodies to indicate what master or general they belong to. You see? So the devil, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the wicked, the rulers of this vile, wicked kingdom, they are going to microchip you and it is going to identify you as their slaves, right? Because what they're bringing in is the system that they're calling the fourth industrial revolution is really the next stage of slavery that they have envisioned for the world. This is what their new world order is. And they plan to microchip everyone because this microchip implanted in the body is going to be with the people everywhere that they go. So they'll be able to track you every single step that you make. And then, because the microchip is going to be so ingrained a part of society where you're using it to communicate with every single thing that you do regarding, you make payments, you're using the microchip. You go for government services, they're identifying you with your microchip in the hand. You go for medical services, they identify the microchip in your hand, and when they scan it, your entire medical records and information comes up for everything. And then that leaves what? A digital footprint. So they're going to be able to track you from the second that you wake up to the second that you go to bed. And then they show you, they've already told the world, because a part of their NWO, their New World Order, is that they want to cull the population to what, 500 million? So that's a very large number of people that they intend to destroy, to get rid of. All right? And they're going to make their move, man. And they're already making their move. Many things are already in place to bring great chaos and great hell to the world, which that is Yahweh Shimei Shai, using his sword, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, to bring about these things. But then it says also, it says origin from primary stezo to stick, i.e. prick. Strong's definition from primary word stezo to stick, that is a mark incised or punched for recognition of ownership. There it is again, a mark incised or punched. Something put into something. And this mark is going to be put into the bodies of the people. As it says, it's going to be sticked, right? It's going to be pricked in to the body. It literally says it. So the breakdown is completely correct regarding the mark of the beast being the microchip. Okay? So then, current events. Current events indeed. Alright, so I have a few articles here, all of them pertinent to what is going on. As I said earlier before, alright, this has been a really hot week regarding the development of the Mark of the Beast prophecy. So I'm going to bring out all of this information to show you the development of it from a current events point of view. So I'll just bring out the title of some of these articles. Albania's leader pushes dream of first cashless society. Why is he pushing towards a cashless society? Because the system is going completely digital and they're implementing a digital payment system, because the microchip is a digital device and it is going to be the digital device that is going to be used to make payments, microchip payments, all right? So they're transforming the system to that digital payment system, okay? This is a part of the New World Order agenda. And all of these countries around the world are a part of it. All right, the scriptures say in Job chapter 9 and verse 24 that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. All right, so this is Esau's kingdom. Okay? You have South Africa unveils roadmap for single digital ID system. So this is them moving along with the agenda to push towards a digital ID. is a stepping stone, right, heading towards the microchip. Because what's going to happen when it is that the prophecy comes to pass, they're going to say, okay, well, you know, based on whatever is happening, you know what I'm saying, they're going to so conveniently have systems put in place, right, for the microchip. So they're going to already have a digital ID ready for the people to then say, okay, then they just transfer that digital ID onto the microchip. Mobile driver's licenses, which are digital IDs, digital ID finds support in US and Canada. Coordinated Australian digital ID infrastructure strategy could deliver major savings. You have the EU, the European Union, speeds up plans for digital euro after US stablecoin law. So they're speeding up their plans for the digital euro, right? Remember, this is an important part. The digital currency, the central bank digital currencies, all right? The transformation of the monetary system. And remember the stable coin, right? And then the stable coins, crypto, cause a third of central banks to accelerate central bank digital currency work. So you see, when the stable coin was signed into law, suddenly these other central banks around the world have started to accelerate towards their central bank digital currencies. Why? Because the devil is saying he's ready to push his agenda. And it is coming. The scriptures say it in Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, talking about the so-called white man, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he knows his time is short. His kingdom is coming to an end, and he's eager to launch his ultimate final plan. You know, this is what they've been working on for decades. They've revealed these plans long ago in their media, which is a part of their witchcraft on the left-hand side, right? A part of their witchcraft, and they call it the I need to try and move as far as away from the music, because one time when, you know, the video picked up some of the music, Esau decided to strike it because they're still talking about copyright or something like that. So I need to try and move as far as away from it. All right. Salakio. So what Esau calls it, actually let me go a little further down. What Esau calls it, what it is called, where Esau reveals his plans in plain sight, all right, is the revelation of method, which the elites tell us through their books and publications, movies and news releases, what they're doing. This is called revelation of the method, all right? So they've done this. I can remember there's this clip from a movie from, I think maybe from the 80s. It looked really old. It was in color. It was in color, so it probably was like the 80s or something. I don't believe it was the 90s. If it was the early 90s. But they said, they revealed literally their New World Order plan. They said they're going to be doing certain things, bring about certain chaos, and then they're also going to be using the food against the people, and they're going to intentionally bring about the famine. All right, so they've been working on this plan for decades. And they're very eager to launch it, man. The time is coming up, and you know, the prophets of Yahweh Shemishai can very clearly see it. Okay? So that's why they all accelerated, because they're accelerating to implement the system needed for the microchip to work on that mandatory and global scale. All right, this is what is at hand, man. All right, so actually, I mentioned stablecoin, and you know, I really do advise those of you out there that are listening in, you know, whoever it may be, that you do your own research. It helps to make information stick when you research it, and you know, it's all just like a simple Google search, you know. But the stablecoin, it says stablecoins are digital assets designed to maintain a stable value, primarily pegged to the US dollar. So it says it right there. And it is backed by the US dollar. Stablecoins are designed to bridge the gap between the unpredictability of popular cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and the stability required for everyday financial transactions, right? Because it's not about the Bitcoin and the Ethereum and those kinds of cryptocurrencies. It's all about the central bank digital currency and the stablecoin, which they work on a different platform from the Bitcoin and Ethereum and those. All right, keep your eyes on the central bank digital currencies and the stablecoin. It says by pegging their value to fiat currency, so the stablecoin is pegged to the fiat currency, to the US dollar, commodities or other financial instruments. Stablecoins offer a crypto alternative with reduced volatility. Okay, so that's what it is. It is the US digital currency, all right, because it works as that 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so with that, you have as well regarding the system with the stable coin, and I'm mentioning the stable coin, I'm putting an emphasis on it because if you do your research on America, right, regarding central bank digital currencies, they will tell you that they're against central bank digital currencies, that they're trying to sign anti-central bank digital currencies laws in place and all these kinds of things. But that is a boogeyman. That is a lie. All right? What they instead did and have done is that they signed the Genius Act, the stable coin, which is all the same thing as a central bank digital currency. All right? So it's like they don't want to put the American people on alert, so they're going to sign something which is literally the same, but name it something differently and just sign it into law. And then it just flies over the heads of all of these people in America. All right? But not over the elect of the nation of Israel. And then you have Jamie Dimon now says he's a believer in stablecoin, and JP Morgan Chase's new partnership could change everything. Now, JP Morgan is the biggest, most influential bank in America, I believe. If not them, it's the Bank of America. And actually, back in 2018 or 2019, the CEO of Bank of America at the time, he said that he's an advocate for a cashless society, right? So they're all a part of the agenda. But here it is, right? This man, the CEO of JP Morgan, is an advocate in stablecoin. All right? So that just shows you where it's all heading towards. All roads lead to the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. All right? Then we have two big events that happened this week. Major steps heading towards this prophecy, man. And this is really huge. And we're excited. I'm excited. Yesterday when I woke up, I learned about one of them and I was like, wow, this is huge. But let me get into it. In Vietnam, they made a very draconian, critical move over there in Vietnam. Vietnam shuts down millions of bank accounts over biometric rules. Vietnam erases 86 million bank accounts, right? The Great Reset in motion. And why did they do that? Let's read it. Vietnam has begun a sweeping crackdown on bank accounts that fail to comply with its new mandatory facial biometric identification system. And what is that? That is the digital ID. They are implementing a mandatory facial biometric identification system, the digital identification system. And they're telling you that it is mandatory, so you have to take it. And they have shut down the people's bank accounts in Vietnam for not having it. So they're telling you that unless you have this digital ID, which is mandatory, you won't have access to your bank account. This is a precursor to what is to come when it is that that microchip is made mandatory worldwide. They're showing you already, and they're showing you in very early stages from this digital ID, which is a stepping stone. I have to make it clear, a stepping stone. All right? But they're showing you. They're like, yo, if you don't take part in the system, if you don't comply with the system, then guess what? You're going to be shut out from the system. And in this case, they're shutting you out of your money in Vietnam if you don't be a part of the biometric digital identification system. Do you see how huge this is regarding moving towards this prophecy of the mark of the beast? This is huge. This is huge. Okay? So then, I want to read it from this other article, right? So it says, Vietnam has erased and or frozen 86 million unverified bank accounts as the nation surrenders to the globalist reset, Great Reset, which is talking about the wicked elite of Esau, Edom, the elite bankers. Anyone wishing to function in society must surrender their biometric data to maintain a bank account, the State Bank of Vietnam. So imagine that they're doing it already. They're already telling you that if you don't become a part of the system, you're going to be shut out of the system. Can you imagine? It already is happening. And you know what? They actually already showed you that they have this kind of behavior and method that they're going to push forward with. Because during the pandemic in the early 2020s, right? Because we're in 2025, about to be 2026. All right, so the early 2020s, right, during the pandemic, they decided to offer a solution to it, right? We know what that solution is. And then in places like this, in Israel, they were saying that unless you had that solution that they, provided to the situation at hand, that you were not allowed into these green zones. You see? So that was a precursor to what is to come. Some insight into what is to come regarding when it is that the microchip is made mandatory. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you that unless you have this microchip, you're not gonna be able to enter into these certain areas. You won't be able to have access to food. You won't be able to have access to services. They're already showing you what is to come. And Yahweh Shemishai is blowing these final trumpets, man. These final trumpets. To warn you children of Israel to repent. Because the danger is coming, man. And it is close. So they're saying, right? The the Bank of Vietnam, the State Bank of Vietnam, claims that the measure was a system cleanup aimed at preventing fraud. And this is what they're using, man. You see, the devil, this is how he operates. And the scriptures tell us, man, the scriptures tell us in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not ignorant to Satan's devices, man. We're not ignorant to his methods, his deception, his lies, which is talking about Esau, right? Satan is the adversary to who? Yahweh Shemishai and the Israelites. So it's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. This is talking about, you know, Esau, which Esau comes as the physical representation, right, of the spiritual entity, Satan, which works for the Most High, all right? The Lord gives him the order and he fulfills the Lord's will. And then, you know, Esau fulfills that will as well, right? So he cannot get advantage of us, for we're not ignorant to his devices. Okay? So all of this talk about fraud and all of this talk about whatever reasons he's using, right? We can see through it. And they're the ones that commit all of these things anyway. They commit the fraud. They do the money laundering. They do all of these things, man. Okay? But they're going to create whatever reason, and those reasons are going to stick. And that's fine, because the prophecy is going to come to pass. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it says this is a data cleansing revolution, said the director of the payment department. While the total number of bank accounts remain 200 million, by September 2025, once the legal framework is complete, all accounts without biometric data will be closed to prevent scams and fraud. After seven years of promoting non-cash payments, we are moving toward real efficiency. So you see that? They say it very clearly that they have been for 7 years pushing towards a cashless system, non-cash payments. So now everything is starting to come to a head, because the prophecy is very close to occurring. Vietnam implemented a nationwide digital ID, EID, that's what it's called, system called VNEID that requires both citizens and foreign residents to surrender to the matrix and permit the government to store their personal information in a centralized database. Fingerprints, facial biometric data, photographs, passports, nationality, criminal records, and even medical records will be stored in the government database. Participation is not optional. You see, this is huge. This is huge, and I cannot emphasize it enough. All right? And what is happening in Vietnam is going to be happening to other countries around the world. So that was one of the things that happened earlier this week. Then you have the hottest news on the block. All right? So firstly, on September 22nd, 2025, it says UK National Digital Identity announcement and anticipated soon. So when I seen this article, I was like, hold on, what's gonna happen, right? Because, you know, we've been through this. We've been through it where the devil be talking about things. He'll be talking about, oh, he's gonna do certain things. But for many years, we've been in this period of time where it's like we hear about it and we read about it, but we don't see anything being done. Now, times are different, man. Times are different. Now, they're speaking about it and they're doing it. We're in the mid-game. We're at the mid-game. We're at the mid-stages. All right? We're no longer in the early stages where it's the prophets of Yahweh Shemishai talking about these prophecies coming to pass. Now we're in the mid-game stages where we're seeing the development of these prophecies, and we're seeing prophecy happen in real time. And soon we're going to be hitting that late stage, the end game stage, where the prophecies are coming to pass fully. All right? So now they're implementing the systems to accommodate the microchip on this global and mandatory scale. And they're being very draconian with it. So let me read what happened now. British digital ID card for all. Britain to introduce compulsory digital ID for workers. Compulsory. Mandatory. Right? Starmer says from the BBC, says people will not be able to work in the UK without digital ID. This is the devil the Bible speaks of, man, the so-called white man, pushing forward with his draconian rule. This is very draconian. He's telling you that unless you have a digital ID, you won't be able to work in the UK. So what does that mean? People are going to be like, well, they gotta eat, right? If you don't work, you don't eat. So people are going to jump in willingly to take the digital ID to be a part of the system, which is fine for now. The digital ID is not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the microchip, but it is in fact the stepping stone, the system being implemented. So people are in the UK, brothers are in the UK, right? They gonna have to eat, right? For now, you know what I'm saying? So they'll have a digital ID, and then things will continue. And then when the time comes where the mark of the beast prophecy, which is the microchip, comes to pass, that's when it is, you know, no. All right? But I have to make that clear, man. I have to make that clear. Because you got the hopefully elect out there. All right? And we don't want the hopefully elect to be making any kind of rash moves, you know what I'm saying? You don't want any false information to be put out there, right? But knowing what is happening, you can see it coming. Okay, so where to take it? UK plans mandatory digital ID to clamp down on migrants working illegally. So this is what they're doing. They're using the whole immigration situation as their excuse as to why they're going to make the digital ID in the UK mandatory to work. But y'all know what that situation is, man. They create these problems, right? They create the problem and then they offer a solution. They're the ones that let all of the people in, right? They did this all intentionally, and they created a narrative and a problem about it, and now they're offering a solution for it, right? To stop this immigration problem. This is the devil at work, man. All right, we must remember his nature. All right? Psalms chapter 10 and verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So his mouth is full of what? Cursing and deceit and fraud. The scriptures say to never trust thine enemy. All right, so everything that he does, you have to look at him with squinted eyes. Like, I see what he's doing, but I don't trust it. And that's the spirit that I have on me, man. Any kind of move this devil makes, I'm like, let me see what's going on. Because, you know, I was watching the Elder Apostle Tahari's video earlier, and, you know, with the YouTube, you know, they banned a whole bunch of channels, you know, including our channels. My channel was banned during the pandemic era, you know. They banned a whole bunch of channels during that era, and they're now allowing them to come back, right? So the Elder Apostle Tahari said that it could be a Trojan horse. And I said, you know what? I can see that, Apostle. I can definitely see that. A Trojan horse, because it's like, why? Why would they? What's their purpose? And this devil man, he always does certain things in a very subtle, very deceptive way with an agenda, ulterior motives behind it. But we will see, because all things are revealed in due time. We shall see why he has decided to bring back all of those channels. It's actually been a wonder to me as well, regarding the YouTube and everything, how it is that we're able to speak more freely and not in code anymore as we used to have to. You see what I'm saying? Regarding certain topics. Something is cooking, but we'll just have to wait and see. So his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, and under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And the word vanity in the Hebrew goes back to the word awal, which is trouble of sorrow and iniquity, wickedness, salakia. So his intentions are never for your benefit, you Israelites. It never is. So you have to pre him. Pre is a word for, out here using Jamaica, to watch. You have to watch him. All right. So they introduced this digital ID mandatory for workers in the UK, to work there in the UK, and this is a huge step. They've made the digital ID mandatory in Vietnam, and they've made it mandatory in the UK, and it's going to be something that is going to spread to all of these different countries around the world. All right, it's a one world agenda, it's a one world order. This is what is happening. The new world order is happening right now. Okay, this is huge. All right, and with the UK doing it, okay, because yeah, you have Vietnam and you have these other countries launching, whatever, but the UK is huge. The UK is one of Esau's big hubs, right? You have their main hub, which is America, which is Babylon the Great, but then you have the UK, which is the financial side, right? The financial side of things for them, right? Yeah. So the UK is a huge step, bigger than you may even realize, right? Regarding what they've done. It is much bigger than what they've done in Vietnam. All right, this is an Edomite sovereign first world country nation that has implemented a mandatory digital ID in order to work. It's going to spread to Europe, America, etc. It's only a matter of time. This is all at hand. And then some news regarding the brain microchip, right? The microchip in the forehead and the hand and in the forehead, because you have the hand portion, right? And you have the forehead and the brain microchip, which has been put into from trial run to success story in a matter of a few years. It's up and running. The microchip technology is up and running. Right now, it's about implementing the systems to facilitate its usage. All right, the microchip is already out there. And so you have from Elon Musk, Neuralink, Neuralink plans brain implant trial for speech impairments. So they're continuing to implant individuals with brain microchips. And then you have as well, all right, custom brain implant delivers personalized therapy to ease chronic pain. So the way that they're selling the brain microchip is different from the hand microchip. The hand microchip is about, people having the microchip in their hand, and it's having, being used to make payments and being used for all, access to all kinds of services, right? But the brain microchip, they're selling it as this kind of device that it can perform all of these types of miraculous acts, such as help the paraplegics to walk, help the blind to see, allow people in certain critical conditions that there's no solution or no aid for it right now, to be able to communicate with the brain microchip in their brain, to communicate with other external technologies. It has already been shown an individual with the brain microchip is able to communicate with external technology, to play video games, to use the computer. It's already happening. Elon Musk already sold it, where the brain microchip is going to be able to communicate with his robots, his Neuralink, his Elon Musk, whatever his company is called, Elon Musk robots. All right. So it is being developed, and it already is developed. It is at hand. Okay. Salakio. I'm feeling very, feeling very excited, man. Because as the scriptures say, our salvation is nearer than when we believe. And this is of one spirit. This is of one spirit, man. The spirit, the body of Yahushai. You know, the brothers are all of one spirit, man. Excited to see that these things are happening. Because it's a major step. How long will we be in this period of time where they make the digital IDs mandatory or whatever? However it is, man, it is. But the fact that things are progressing towards this prophecy, it's enough to make my day. All right? And I was talking to a brother yesterday. You know, I was talking to my brother yesterday, Akio, you know. And he's excited as well. And I can see that the 144,000, the prophets of Yahweh Shemeshai, you know, the brothers out there, man, doing this work in truth and sincerity, dispersing the true and correct doctrine to the four corners of the earth, are all excited and hyped. The multitude of brothers that spoke on this topic, man, you know, this situation occurring, it's huge. All right, so with that, let's get into more precepts regarding the mark of the beast. And you know, this topic, you know, there are certain precepts for it, but you know, I know that I haven't brought out many precepts, you know, but this is what the topic is. It is a very fleshed out topic with a lot of information to bring out, right? To provide understanding to the hopeful elect, Yahushai sheep, you know, the flock, right? To understand what is coming, right? To show you, right, that the wolf is coming, man. All right, to warn you, to show you step by step everything that is happening. But let's get into the time that is coming, which is the hour of temptation. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the hour of temptation is going to be when you are faced with taking the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Why? Because it's going to become mandatory worldwide. Why is it going to be the hour of temptation? Because there's going to be chaos upon the world. All right, remember, this is the Edomites that are in rulership today, and their blessing is the sword, and they are the Lord's sword according to the book of Psalms. So they're going to be unleashed, and it says it in Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, which is talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and his name that sat on him was Death and Hell. Death and hell. What is hell? To be in an unfavorable condition, to be in a bad situation. That's what they're going to be bringing to the earth, man. Death and hell. Right? Followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, which is talking about America, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So Esau is intentionally going to be bringing chaos to the world to establish his new world order. They have a motto called Order Ab Kill, which is order out of chaos. They create chaotic situations and then they bring order. They're showing you they've already done that. Right? They created the idea of fraud and has shown fraud to be occurring. But they're most likely the ones that are behind all of that, creating a problem to put forward a solution. They've created this immigration problem, right? Because, no, think about it. In Europe, the Edomites in Europe been complaining about like the Arabs because so many Arabs have been let into the country. In Canada, I went to Canada recently. I thought when I landed in Canada, I thought I landed in India. Type shit. When I landed in Canada, I thought I landed in India because I was just seeing Indian people. In Canada, they have a quote-unquote immigration problem because of all of the Indian people there. But I remember the years. I remember the days. I remember all of the years throughout the 2010s about the advertisements. Hey, come to Canada, come to Canada, come to Canada, come to Canada. And it was for people outside of the country. And they made it very easy for all of those people to immigrate to Canada. And then in recent times, they've spoken about this immigration situation. And I know people, my own family in Canada is experiencing where, you know, it was easy to become and get your Canadian green card and everything by just going to school there. But now, because of the whole immigration situation and the measures that they're making, it's hard now. And I have family members that are trapped in that in Canada. Yeah. And then the whole America situation that they created. So I see it, right? And then they have another motto, never let a good crisis go to waste. And that's what they do. Every single time you see something critical or chaotic happen, they create all kinds of problems, which is all about pushing forward their agenda. So they're doing this, man. Okay? So back to Revelation 3 verse 10. The hour of temptation. Now the word world, and I'll read it again. Revelation 3 verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So the word world here is important to go into, which is G3625, which is oikoumene, which is talking about the inhabited earth. So what this is saying is that the hour of temptation, right, where the microchip is mandatory worldwide, where you're going to be faced with it, is going to affect the entire world, right? Which speaks to the prophecy. He calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, right? So everybody's going to be faced with it. But regarding the warning from Yahweh Shemishai as to not take the microchip, which is the mark of the beast, it is only for the children of Israel. As salvation is only for our people, and of the children of Israel, only a remnant will be saved, which is the elect of the nation of Israel. All right? So, the hour of temptation, when you go into the word temptation, let's break it down. At G3986, it says parasmos in the Greek, which is an attempt, a trial, a proving. Right, the hour of temptation for us that believe is going to be a trial of our faith. Okay, those that don't believe, they're just going to take it because they're going to be experiencing hell and they don't believe in Yahweh Shemishai. All right, but for those of us, it's going to be a test of our faith. Do we really believe in Yahweh Shemishai? Do we really believe that the Lord is going to protect us in those days? Well, we're going to face it, the hour of temptation. But when we break down the word temptation, right, it goes to G3985, which is parazzo. This word parazzo in the same scripture of Revelation 3 verse 10 is the same word at try, right? So temptation and try are breaking down into the same thing. So let's break it down further, right? So from parazzo, you go to G3984, which is para, which also talks about a trial. But then when you break it down even deeper, it says origin from the base of G4008 through the idea of piercing, which says peron, which is to pierce. You see? So this word temptation and the word try in Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10 breaks down to the word pierce. And how do you administer the microchip? By piercing the flesh. You see? So let's read it again by this definition of it broken down. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also keep thee from the hour of piercing, which shall come upon all the world to pierce them which dwell upon the earth. Because that's how the microchip is administered. That's how the mark of the beast is administered, by piercing. You see? So there's no doubt about it. It's clear to see for those who have the eyesight. But you know what the scriptures say? The scriptures say, man, Romans chapter 11 and verse 7, what then hath Israel not obtained that which he seeketh for? But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. The rest of the nation of Israel, right? So only the elect of the nation of Israel will be able to see this as clear as day. As clear as day, all right? But the rest of the nation, the unbelieving of our people that are of the non-elect, they won't be able to see this. It doesn't matter. As much as you show it to them, as much as you break it down, 1, 2, 3, they can't see it. ABC, 1, 2, 3, they can't see it. But the elect see it as ABC, 1, 2, 3. It's as simple as breathing. Okay? So then the warning from Yahweh Shemishai. You know, I feel like that music has gotten louder. I feel like that music has gotten louder. Alright, but it's okay. It's alright, it's all good. You know, Satan does his thing. But anyway, I'll be finished soon. Revelation 14 and verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast. The word worship here is the Greek word proskuneo, which says, like a dog licking his master's hand. So when you take the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, you would worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, which means that you would have worshipped Esau and his system, his lifestyle, right? And you would have accepted his microchip, okay? The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Shemishai, which also means that you would have chosen where your salvation lies, because there's going to be chaos upon the earth. And then the so-called white man is going to provide you with a solution, and it's going to come in the form of that microchip. And so you're going to forsake Yahweh Shemishai, and you're going to trust in the devil and believe that he's going to save you by taking his microchip. Right? And so you would have turned your back towards Yahweh Shemishai. That is what the proskuneo is. So the Lord is going to destroy you. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Shemishai, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Remember what I spoke about earlier regarding the prophecies that are to come? America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire at the end of World War III. And before America is destroyed, Yahushua is going to return. And this is all going to happen during Jacob's trouble. Yahushua is going to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel from the four corners of the earth. He's going to deliver the 1/3 from America as it pertains to Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. Alright? And then 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed in America. And those 2/3, they're going to be taking the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. And there's no salvation for the heathen. It don't matter if they take the microchip or not. Nobody cares about them. Alright? They're going to be slaves in the kingdom. That's their lot. Alright? They're all going to be our slaves, all of the heathen. And then after the 1,000 years, the nation of Edom is going to be done away with. The so-called white man will cease to exist. But these are the times that we're heading towards. So if you take the microchip, which is the mark of the beast, you're in America, you're going to be destroyed by the thermonuclear fire. This is severe judgment. This is the second death, which is death by way of fire. The first death was a flood, which was death by way of water. This is severe judgment from Yahweh Shemishai, man, and the Lord is warning you people. The warning has been going out for decades. And the time is going to come where the Lord is going to stop warning you people. Because at that time, the severe judgment is at hand. Revelation chapter 7 talks about it, man. When the servants are sealed, the 144,000 are sealed, then will the destruction come. There are 4 angels holding the destruction back, placed by Yahweh Shemishai. Alright? They're going to be unleashed soon, and that time is coming. It's imminent. Okay? But the victory shall come for the elect of the nation of Israel. Revelation chapter 15 and verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark. This is talking about the elect, man. Those who refuse to bend the knee to the system, bend the knee to the wicked, bend the knee to the wicked, which is Esau, and to turn towards Yahweh Shemishai, with faith and sincerity, right? The elect will be up in the chariots, right? Witnessing the destruction of America and witnessing the end of our enemy. And the Lord says it, man. There are such great things for a man to experience, and the fall of his enemy is one of them. We're going to witness as well righteousness being brought in. And we're going to experience no more death, no more sorrow. This is what is coming, man. No more pain and living righteously. No longer going off, man. No longer going off. We'll be righteous and pure. The Lord is going to change us. It says, as a twink. First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 20. First Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 51. Verse 50. Now I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh Shemishai, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And this is coming, man, starting with the elect of the nation of Israel. And those of us of the hopeful elect, this is what we look forward to. We look forward to the end of our enemy, but more importantly, for the return of our Lord Yahushua, and to be out of this flesh, these chains of darkness, the kingdom and everything, man. And it is coming. The signs are all there. The book of Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 says, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, it will surely come, it will not tarry. And the vision are these prophecies, and the prophecies are shouting in your faces right now. The Lord is sounding the final trumpet. These last days, weeks, months, however it is, years, okay? That the end is coming. And our salvation is nearer than when we believed, as it says in the book of Romans. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai by Shem Kodesh. And once again, Shalom to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, the 144,000, the men that believe, the men that are teaching this word in truth and sincerity, and on to the elect of the nation of Israel, the men, women, and children that believe, man. I know y'all are out there. Some of you have actually passed by before and have hailed me up, you know. I know y'all are out there. Shalom to you all, man. The kingdom of heaven is coming soon. Shalom.